So over the past week or so, you guys have sent me a handful of questions. And what I want to do is, because I don't think that individually these questions warrant a 20, 30 minute, here's your situation and how I would handle it video. I want to go ahead and knock a couple of these out because I think they are a little bit more simple. I think these are things that I can give you a straightforward answer and then we can move on. So the first one here from DD Purist Airsoft, he asks, what are your thoughts on starting World of Warcraft in 2018 without really ever playing it before? Do you think it would be fun? Do you think it's worth the money? I don't have a super large budget for gaming. So, maybe. I would say maybe is my answer. The reason for this is you are still going to be spending $15 a month. So if your budget is a concern, you may, if the MMORPG genre is something that you enjoy, it may be worth your money. You're going to be spending $180 for the entire, if you play for the entire year. Now, obviously, you can cancel your subscription and whatnot, but whatever. As far as the game goes, now is a really good time to get into it. And the reason why I say that is with patch 7.3.5, which just came out on Tuesday, the leveling process has been completely revamped. So the issue was, for those of you that haven't been playing, maybe have never played like this guy, that once content comes out, you look at something like Legion. The Legion content is current content. Everybody has the gear for it. Well, next expansion comes out, gear inflates, stats inflate, and it kind of trickles down to where when you're leveling an alt, maybe you have heirlooms, maybe you have some gear that's a little bit more powerful. Maybe Blizzard has kind of adjusted the experience needed or the experience gained or whatever. Well, now you're far more powerful than the content that you are clearing, which means you're clearing it faster, you're gaining more experience, all that jazz, and probably like a quarter to halfway through a zone, you've already outleveled all the quests. And you have half of the zone that you haven't even touched, half of the story that you haven't even finished for that zone, and you have to move on. So with 7.3.5, the patch that, like I said, just came out on Tuesday, they've revamped that so that is no longer an issue. They've done a wide variety of things, but probably the coolest, at least in my mind, is the scaling technology for Legion, where regardless of whether you're level 100, level 101, or level 110, the mobs are going to scale. So you and I, if I'm 110 and you're 101, we can fight the same mob, and we're both going to be okay. That scaling has been implemented game-wide, with the exception of the 1 to 10 starter zones, which is fine. You can stick in a zone until you finish the quest, and you're not going to outlevel it. And that's really cool. So now is a good time to get into it. If the MMORPG genre is something that you're interested in, and the budget of about $180 for the whole year is something that is affordable for you. If it's not, maybe look at something else. There are a lot of cool games. There are a lot of games that can really keep you tied down for a while. Fallout 4, The Witcher, even some multiplayer games if that's your thing. Overwatch and Diablo and whatnot. There's a lot of free to play games. There's plenty of games out there. So I would say like I mentioned, if the MMORPG game type is what you crave, yeah, then absolutely. If you're unsure about it, you try the 10-day free trial. But other than that, if you're unsure, maybe skip it. So the second question here from Hannah Eli Edgen. I hope I'm saying that last name right. She says, brand new subscriber here. Thank you. Just wanted to leave some feedback, which is always appreciated. Even if it's negative feedback, I would much rather you guys say it than me never know it. I think your content so far is awesome. I completely agree. It's pretty much exactly the kind of thing I'm looking for. I really love guild organizational, problem-solving tactics conversations. Yes, that's, start of a conversation. That's what I want here. I want a discussion because my answers, my experiences may not be right, but at least there's something that we can all look at. Second thing here, I think your content could be better delivered if you maybe took notes beforehand or wrote out some bullet points, maybe just to help you stay on topic, make sure you're covering key elements. So she, and I'm assuming this is a she, but she left this comment on an older video, like a 2016 video. I have started most of the time, unless I'm ranting, written down a few comments, a few points, etc. I'm a rambler. I really am. It's probably one of my biggest detriments when it comes to doing YouTube is I talk, and I get off topic, and it takes me a second to get back on topic, and I can't help it. But hopefully she has noticed, and you guys have noticed that for the past year, year and a half, whatever, between the video that she watched and this one, that hopefully the content has very slowly and steadily gotten better. Third one here, and this is a big one, and I'm gonna answer these questions as they come out. But I will probably do some more in-depth videos on these questions because I think these are some really good ones, and the dogs are playing at the door, so I apologize. So she asks, first of all, what type of guild do I have? Hardcore, semi, casual, etc. I would say somewhere on that line between semi and casual. Semi in that I expect for you to show up, do halfway decent numbers, not be a dum-dum, not be this drama queen, etc. However, one of the things that I'm really bad about is I let people get 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more attempts than what they really deserve, and another chance at something. Look, I pull them aside, or my officers pull them aside, or we call them out during the raid or in Discord when I comb through the logs, and I tell them, you're screwing up, you're not doing what you need to do. Don't let it happen again. And it happens again, and it's another, pull them aside, dude, you're really screwing up, stop it. And that's something that I need to work on, and I know I do. So somewhere between semi and hardcore, or semi and casual rather, not hardcore, not a social guild, anything like that. Now, as far as difficulty goes, somewhere on the line between mythic and heroic, leaning, unfortunately, slightly more towards the heroic side of things, simply because of roster issues and people issues and whatnot. That roster boss has been a killer for us for the entire expansion. We've gotten some mythic bosses down, and it's something that I really enjoy doing. But it's just recruitment sucks, man. Recruitment sucks. Second question she had: how do your guilds handle trials, including rules, restrictions, time periods, etc.? So, pretty simply, you are on a 2-week trial period with us. We call you an eval. It's your evaluation period. During that time, you are considered, you have every single right that a raiding member of the guild has, with one exception. My raid members, because they have passed this evaluation process, if there's something they don't like during the raid, they have the ability to call a vote. Kind of democratic, where they go, look, I want to change the raid times, and the guild votes on it. The raiding members of the guild vote on it. An eval, a probationary member, doesn't have that right. Now, as far as rules go, all the rules apply. Nothing doesn't apply. They have full access to loot minus tier items, just because I'm going to prioritize the people that have been here longer. But if it's a better upgrade for you and you just got here, you might get it. Now, your first raid night, your second raid night, don't hold your breath. I'm purposely going to skip over your first raid night here, even if it's a big upgrade for you. Deal with it. It's your first night here. You shouldn't expect anything. Restrictions, again, not really. Time period. Now, this is a big one. It used to be 4 weeks for your eval process way back when. When I joined the guild, it was 4 weeks. I have dropped it down since I became guild leader to 2 weeks-ish. And the reason for this is people expect for things to go a lot faster, you kids these days. But if I see that someone just isn't cutting it, if I see that, your performance or your attendance or your attitude or something that I don't like or is detrimental to the raid is not being fixed, I will extend it, and I will extend it. And with it goes, you're less inclined to give you gear. Because, if you've been in eval for 6-8 weeks because you're not showing up and your numbers are trash, and it's not a gear issue, we can look at that and see you're missing things, you're dying early, etc. I'm not going to give you gear. And eventually we're just going to cut ties and go, look, it's not working out. The thing to remember when it comes to probationary periods between you and a guild, or a guild and a new person, is for both parties. It's not, I'm the new guy and they're trying to feel me out. No, you should be feeling that guild out too. It is your job as a new guy to go, look, I don't really like the way you guys run things. I appreciate the invite, but I'm going to look elsewhere. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. It sucks for me as a guild leader, as a raid leader, but it's cool. The third thing here, drama management and crisis management, i.e. if a key raider leaves, if a new member doesn't get along well with core members, loot distribution, all the possible drama that can be attached to that. So drama management, crisis management. Drama management, minimal drama in my guild. I don't put up with that shit. I don't like drama. I don't like dealing with it. I'm 32 years old. I'm, a parent. I have a full-time job. I have 2 dogs. Ain't nobody got time for that shit. Crisis management. Okay, so I think we'll take these one at a time. If a key raider leaves, what do? Talk to the guild. If I had a key long-term member leave, and they left on bad terms. Now, there is a difference between, I had a raider who has been raiding with us for a while now, and he texted me and we talked back and forth, and he said, look, I'm going through some stuff in life. I'm, getting a higher education, and, I have a new job, and I can't raid right now. I'm super stressed out. I'm dead tired. Okay, that's cool. Not a big deal. And I let the guild know, hey guys, he's getting his education on. He'll be back when he can. We got to make do. We got to figure it out. Now, if it's, a long-time member that just, a gasket blows or something happens and, maybe there was drama. Again, I sit down, I talk to the guild. I think that's the most important thing that as a leader you can do is just to be transparent. Look, say, look, guys, this guy left, here's the deal. I fucked up. Or, we messed up or he fucked up. And here's the way it's going to be. Do we have any objections? Is there anything, that I can do better as a guild leader? Or was there something wrong? Or, what can we do? Is there anybody that would like to follow him? Get it out now, be transparent, and let them know, hey, look. And this is a good example. Like I just mentioned, the guy that texted me and said, hey, I'm getting my, a higher education. I have to deal with some stuff. We're down a healer. So I said straight up to the guys in the guild this week, we're down a healer. We got to deal with it. I will heal for now. We'll figure it out. Try to help me recruit a healer. Easy as that. Loot distribution, all the possible drama that can attach itself to it. See, here's the thing. I don't really care about loot. I love getting loot. Everybody loves getting loot. I don't think anybody would be honest in telling you that they don't enjoy it. I'm okay with somebody else getting loot. Eventually, I'd like it, but it's okay if other people get loot in my guild. That's kind of the whole point of raiding, is we collectively will get stuff. If you get butthurt because somebody else gets a trinket or, a tier piece or some loot that you were equally eligible for, why? I don't put up with that crap in my guild. If let's say you think they didn't deserve it and you can talk me through why and maybe they don't deserve it, that's one thing. Look, this guy dies early. He does low DPS. He only shows up once a month and you gave him 12 pieces tonight. Valid points. Okay, you're right. But, I should have gotten it over him because I've, whatever. Nah, dude. There's more to loot than just that. There's many different factors in the loot council for my guild as to how we give out loot. If you get butthurt over loot, it sucks to be you. Go find somewhere else to raid. If you're that petty, you really don't have a spot in my guild. How do you handle raid leading? Dictatorial, where others really don't have a say in strats, one shot caller, etc. Democratic, where everyone pitches in, or what I would call passive, where everyone is expected to know mechanics ahead of time. 1 or 2 people just call out key things like cooldown usage, battle res, etc. And if there are any issues with whatever raiding style you guys use. So here's the thing, and this is a really interesting question. I really like this question. You can't do just one. You cannot, any leader in general, it doesn't have to be a raid leader, your boss at work, whatever. If they say that, I'm in charge and I'm the dictator of this guild, and you'll do everything that I say, that's not a good leader. But then again, the guy that goes, I expect you guys to know all the strats and I'm not going to call anything out, that's not a good leader either. You have to figure out the appropriate tone and attitude to use for that given situation. So, for example, you said dictatorial. There are things where I've gone, no, we're doing it like this. This is the way we're going to do it. Adjust. And the rate does so. Now, there are times where I will say, hey guys, we got to figure this out. Why are we dying? What's the deal with the boss? Is there something that we can do? Is there something I'm missing? Let's all look at it for a minute and talk about it. Let's figure it out. Instead of doing another poll, let's take 2 minutes and let's figure this shit out. We got to do that. And then the third one, you said more passive, where everyone is expected to know mechanics. Sometimes I will purposefully not call things out. A good example is the Coven fight, Antoran Coven or whatever, in Burning Throne, where I started the night calling out all of the big mechanics, the flamethrower dudes and the ads that kill you in one shot. And you guys have done the boss, know what I'm talking about. Like, these are like on a minute 30-second cooldown. Like, they're the big things that you have to deal with for the fight. Towards the end of the night, I stopped calling it out as much. I still called it out every once in a while, but my feeling is I shouldn't have to call it out, consistently. You guys should know, when Bronzebeard, what's his name, the stupid diamond dwarf says, oh, crikey, we're doing this whatever thing, which is totally Scottish, dwarven accent. You guys should be able to figure out through DBM, because it's right in your face, what's going on. There's only 4 different things, and it's very easy. When DBM says spread apart, it's the electricity one. Don't get close to people. Easy peasy. So I think you as a leader have to figure out what's appropriate for that situation. There are times where you have to tell people, look, shut up. This is the way we're doing it. There are times where you have to look at it and go, hey guys, let's all put our heads together and figure this out. And then there are other times where you have to go, look, you guys know what to do. Let's get it done. I'm not calling this crap out. We've done it before. Let's go. So are there any issues with these different things? Of course. People don't like it when you just get blunt with them and tell them you're going to do something. You will do this. People maybe don't like it when you stop calling things out. People maybe don't like it when everybody gets a say. But you know what? If it works for you and for your group, then that's all that matters. Again, you have to figure out what is going to work. Read the tone of the group. If people are pissed off and they're just in a bad mood, maybe you need to be a little bit more blunt and be a little bit more dictatorial, as you say, and just say, look, this is what we're doing. If people are chill and you're really in that mood where you can tell that people are trying to figure stuff out, talk about it, etc. So you get what I'm saying. I'm not going to carry on about this one because, as you pointed out, sometimes I do get a little off topic. So the third question here, and this is not Hannah's question. This is actually one of the guys from my guild asked me this. He messaged me and he said, look, I think you should talk about this for one of your videos. And that is my thought process for gearing up in BFA, Battle for Azeroth. And I think, and he'll correct me, he'll fuss at me if I'm maybe assuming a little bit, but I think his line of questioning was something like this. What are you looking at as a main for BFA? And how do you think that you will play? So here is the deal. And I think this is my reasoning for why I think that one of my guild members asked this question. I am maybe notorious for being the guy that will fill in a hole that is in the raid. What I mean by that, and this is something that I've talked about that maybe isn't necessarily the best way to go about it, but I think it's one of those necessary evils, is if we are missing a healer and we're not recruiting a healer and we just can't find anybody, I'll play a healer. If we have too many healers, I'll play a DPS. I've done, literally this expansion, I've done tanking, I've done healing on several different characters, I've done DPS on several different characters, and like I said, maybe it's detrimental to the raid group, but it's one of those things where we either pug a healer that we don't know, that unknown, or we let me fill in for a spot. It is frustrating. It's frustrating for a variety of reasons. There are a few classes that I don't enjoy just because, a variety of reasons. I really enjoy playing my mage in Tomb of Sargeras. I couldn't think of it. I really enjoyed the mage. I love the animations. I love the damage that I was doing. I really had fun. But then we lost a healer. And so it's like, okay, the mage cannot heal at all. Like, no way. So we either recruit a healer, and nobody was, we weren't getting any hits on recruitment. So what do? I switched to a shaman. Well, then we got one of our shamans came back and he said, look, I'll heal. Cool. So what do we need? Well, we have no shadow priest. And then what happened? We lost the healer. So, it's one of those things. So what is my thought process for gearing and leveling for Battle for Azeroth? I think dropping the artifact power, the artifact grind system for a singular set of, I don't want to say a singular set, but for a single item or a grouping of items that is consistent, where regardless of the spec, they are equal. And you guys that maybe know a little bit more, maybe you went to BlizzCon, or maybe I'm just an idiot on this. My understanding is that you get this neck piece, from what's his name, Australian Bronzebeard, and crikey, and he gives you this neck and says, "Hey, this is the Heart of Azeroth, woohoo!" Regardless of what spec you're in, whatever, what is it, Azerite, Primal Azerite, whatever, Sargerite, whatever, that you put into it, it is equal on all of your specs. So you can go, your tank spec, and you level 10 Heart of Azeroth. You switch to healing spec, and it's still level 10. Different talents or different abilities or whatever to choose from, but there is no, okay, my DPS weapon is artifact, it has 80 traits in it. My healing weapon has 60 traits, and my tanking weapon has, 75 traits. There's none of that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So where does that leave someone like me? It leaves me playing a class that can do at least 2 of the roles. Preferably range DPS. But I'm not opposed to melee. I don't know. I've never played a melee DPS since my Rogue and Molten Core. But I want to have something that can do at least 2 of those roles. We look at something like the Paladin or the Druid that can do all 3, or in the Druid's case, all 4. I played a Druid. I don't know. I think as we get closer to BFA and I see maybe some of the slight tweaks that they make, kind of see where the guild's headed, I might pitch in one way or the other. But I would like to say for now, and we don't know when BFA, Battle for Azeroth, is coming out, at least a class that can do 2 of these roles, so that my gearing, we don't have to worry about tier, so that's really cool. So I can fill at least 2 different roles if need be. With that being said, if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, you want me to ramble on for a few minutes on them, please let me know in the comment section below. You guys can message me on YouTube. You guys can send me an email. It's in the About section. Whatever works for you to let me know, hey, here's my questions. Again, I'd love to make this a more consistent thing because I enjoy doing it. Until next time, guys, I'll see ya.